Welcome to another episode of Overanalyzing Cartoons Massacre, a series where I take a look at a cartoon's massacre completion and overanalyze it, showing tips and strategies used, mistakes made, and what you should and shouldn't do when playing this mode. I won't be mentioning literally everything since I'll be going under the assumption that you have read through my guide and have a good understanding of it. I'm going to be comparing this run to a theoretical perfect version of this exact run to help you further understand this challenge. I also want to clarify that I'm not making these videos to hate on the person playing or saying their run sucks. The week with half year 3 modes have so much going on that it makes it almost humanly impossible to play these modes perfectly. I just want to make this video and the series as a whole to show what mistakes you may make when doing this challenge, as truly understanding this challenge can really help you become a lot better and consistent at beating this. This is one of those FNAF challenges where anything and everything can happen, with an absurd amount of situations that can happen, which makes it easy to call this challenge RNG. So, I made this series as a way to help guide players fully understand this challenge because, in reality, while every situation is affected by RNG, the challenge really is just being able to think fast and quickly adapt to anything that can happen. And if you are good at doing so in this challenge, then it isn't nearly as RNG as you may think. But RNG does still play a crucial role in varying the difficulty of many situations that can happen. Only this first part of the video has a script. I didn't prepare a script for anything else, so if there's something I missed or should have mentioned, then I will leave a pinned comment and talk about all of what I missed and should have mentioned. But I do prepare notes for these videos, so I shouldn't miss too much. Okay, so for all that, let's finally get to the completion video. So hold on, I'll adjust this quick. This one, yep. Okay, so I have a lot more notes for this than usual. There are a lot of things that happen with this challenge, but for a little bit of context with this run, Che, the one who's playing the challenge right now, he kind of wanted to like rush. He kind of wanted to like get this done like quickly because from what I've seen with our messages like a little bit, he kind of just went into it like assuming it'll be mostly the same as the old version of Cartoons Massacre. I'm pretty sure when he went through my guide again, he kind of skimmed through most of it because there are a lot of really obvious things that he didn't do that he should have done in this challenge, but I'll be pointing these out and I'll let you know. And overall, this was a very strange run, but yeah, you'll see from what he was trying to accomplish initially with trying to beat the challenge just for the sake of beating it, it won't be very clean and polished, so I'll be talking about it quite a bit throughout this video, but without further ado, let's finally get to the video, and oh my goodness, hold on, I forgot to adjust the volume a little bit, give me a second. Okay, so let's start off this run. In Okay, so as per usual, these runners usually like to change the temperature to 80, like the previous episode with Jemmy and also with Ruben, I'm pretty sure. And I think even I think everyone I've covered so far that isn't myself has started the run with 80 temperature instead of 40. I've already explained why this was the case, but because it's been a little while since I'm just gonna recap what I want to say about this. The reason why I like to have the temperature be at 40 instead of being at 80 is because when this part I already mentioned in my guide how if you want to change the temperature to 80, then overheating the vent will help with that immensely. But I mean, if you change temperature to 80 right now, I mean, yeah, you're gonna have to do it eventually. You're gonna have to change from 40 to 80. That is a requirement for this if you want to get consistent with Zach here. But if you change the temperature to 80 and use the overheat, the tip of overheating the vent to make temperature change faster is useful because you might be dealing with a whole lot of other characters and you don't have as much time to like have the power be on for that because you risk darkness, right? Darkness is gonna be a bit risky here, and other characters might be a bit distracting. So it might be hard to like get you to go change the temperature faster. But if you have the temperature be at 40 at the very beginning, then yeah, you don't have to worry about any other character, so you can just let it go to 40 right away. And when you have to get it to 80 temperature, then you can do it a lot faster And it's especially more important to do that later on, especially instead of now. Like right now, it doesn't matter. It's start of night, right? Change temperature to 40. But when there's so much going on, you might be like 15 seconds behind, or 10, or like 15 seconds ahead of changing temperature. You might do it too early, too late there, because you have to like do these actions depending on the situations you are in. If you're free, that's usually when you change the temperature, when you're not dealing with anyone else. So if you save changing to a 80 temperature later when everyone else is active, then doing the overheat strategy there will make it so you can change temperature to 80 at a time when it's most needed. Compared to now where like you can just have it be at 40, right? But I'm not entirely sure how to explain this too well, but hopefully I did an okay-ish job at trying to like, explain. Basically, uh, it's more convenient to do the change temperature to 80 later on. But I mean, overall, I have to like specify because this really does not matter. Changing it to 40 or 80, it really doesn't matter on the beginning of the night, but later on, it will like matter. Oh yeah. The thing I want to mention: if let's say, since you're changing the temperature to 80 now, later on you want to change the temperature to 40 for Zach. Later on, it'll be harder to do that because you are going to be forced to overheat the vent a few times, for like Tom or Charity will have here. So like it'll be even slower changing the temperature to 40 when you do it later on, as compared to changing it to 80 later on. But yeah, I went on for a little long there. I'm sorry. And there's like a certain thing like that I can't really put into words. But like it's very complicated my way of like explaining how that works. It's the reason why I don't put that in the guide. I don't like say, oh, changing to 40 this temperature is like better at the beginning of the night because of this and that. I don't include those things because I usually don't explain very well, so yeah. That's all. So yeah. He's doing the strategy overeating the vent now. This is of course like no one's active, and yeah, temperature's at 80. Very nice. But you'll notice later when he has changed temperature to 40, it'll take him longer because he has to overheat the vent over and over and over again. It'll make the temperature go up, which is not what he wants, so it'll take longer to get to 40 temperature. I hope I explained that well enough for you to understand it. Yeah. Now he's at a good situation. Now he can just wait AFK a little bit in the office. Yeah, nothing's really happening here. And oh, if you've noticed, yikes. The first mistake that he made during the challenge, these hallucinations are showing up. If you have played through enough of the new update, the new Zack update, you'd know that these hallucinations only spawn in when there is a demise character that is currently attacking. So like if the mice Violet is at the window, then these hallucinations will appear. If like the mice in the office, hallucinations will appear. And if no demise attack is happening, then these guys won't appear. But if you notice, these hallucinations are appearing even though there is no visible like demise characters present. Not There's no text bomb showing that someone's in the camera. There's no like character in the office or anything. This means that the mice triangle is currently in the cameras. The mice triangle is in the cameras, and she is ready to attack you because currently there is exploit back then in the older version where you can just leave the mice triangle to stay in the cameras for the entire night, and she'll call like a bajillion other characters, make it so much easier. But like, yeah, that was done. Like the mice angle is forced to attack you after you don't go in the cameras for long enough because of to prevent that cheese from happening. So he could have prevented this from happening if he paid attention to the hallucinations. Because yeah, that's the only thing that means. The hallucinations spawning in there only means the mice angles in the cameras if no one else is active. So that's all, basically. I mean, again, it's the start of the night. This really doesn't matter, but it's just a little useful thing to know. If this happened to him later on in the night when like there's stuff happening, when there's like an oxygen or font alarm, this would be really bad. So he's lucky this only happened at the very beginning. But yeah, it's 36 seconds into the night. Normally, I would go to the cameras at this point and check. It's good to get information about where Shattered Milk and Yogurt is going early rather than later, just so you can like because like nothing's happening. Whenever you're busy, you'd know, like especially during times like this when there's no one attacking. this is usually a good time to check all of the other characters' locations, like Shadow Milk and Yogurt, or Tom, or even Mr. Springlock, for example. Or Shadow Jack if you want to prepare for his attack. So, go check on him. Idling in the office is not that good, not that useful. There's more better things you can do with your time than idle in the office doing nothing. It's okay for like the first 15 seconds into the night, but it's like 30 seconds in, and people have started moving. I'm almost certain Shadow Milk and Yogurt has moved to one of their positions, so if he had checked that a bit earlier, or like if he checked it out now, then he would know where they would attack, and he would have less. He would have to like focus less on where their location is, because he would have an approximate idea of where they are. Yeah, he played the audio. It's good. I'm gonna actually reduce the volume on my end a little bit. It's still loud. Can't hear myself. But yeah, okay. Well, a really big mistake he made here. Tom is in the top vent, and yeah, Tom is right there. And what he decides to do, he overheated. This, I'm pretty sure, yeah, this is a major mistake that Alf Dial also made. The episode 2, right? The person I reviewed for episode 2. He also made a same major mistake of overheating Tom in the top vent. I've already explained why this is a really, really bad idea, but yeah, to recap, just a short recap summary. Tom will attack a lot more often if you overheat him in the top vent, and this will cause a lot more annoying situations with Tom. So you really need to let him get through because he takes a lot more time to attack you if you intentionally let him go to the top vent. He takes a while. Uh there's like less risks. You can hear him better because he's close to your office, or you can hear him in the vents better. And yeah, overall, you're making the night harder for yourself if you overheat Tom in the top vent, if you intentionally do anyways. Getting rid of the Mice Javier. Yeah, nothing unusual happening. As you can see, he's checking the second floor camera, seeing if Shattered Milk and Yogurt is there. A minute has passed. Sometimes, if you get a little unlucky, Shattered Milk and Yogurt would have been fast enough and are already in their attacking camera at this point in time. A minute has passed, so it's likely that can happen. So if I were him, I would check the first floor shot camera at this point because this much time has passed, he might get cooked by both of them. And okay. So, yeah, this is a really big mistake. Another really big mistake he made here. Shadow Evil Javier is in the vent. Tom is also in the vent. Of course, if you know my guide, if you've seen my other episodes, you know that you absolutely like the main topic, or not main topic, but like I talk about this so much during my other episodes. But whenever Shadow Evil Javier is in the vent, overheat him first. Top priority. He is number one priority if Shadow Evil Javier is in the vents, unless you know that your camera signal is at 2 bars or more, which in this case it is, but he does the same mistake next time, except it was even worse because the camera signal was actually at 1 bar. So, of course, we all know, anyone who's played Cartoons Massacre, or we could have your tree in general enough, knows that Shadow Evil Javier in the vents plus a camera error is a really frustrating combo. But it's almost always avoided. Not always. Not always. Yeah, not almost. But like, it always is avoidable, essentially. You just have to pay attention to, number one, your camera signal, and number two, shadow you will have here in the vent. You have to be really, really fast and deal with shadow you will have here right away. I cannot emphasize this enough. I will keep pointing this out in every episode, I swear, because everyone has so much trouble with the combo of shadow you will have here in the camera error to the point that they complain about it being like uh one of the most RNG parts about this challenge. You just have to be really fast. Remember. Shadow you will have here in the vent, number one priority, deal with him as soon as possible. Don't go for Tom first, especially in the situation. Let's say Tom is in the right vent, or the bottom vent, and you would actually normally overheat him. You still would absolutely would need to go for Shadow Evil Javier first. You know why? Because if Tom manages to go through the right or bottom vent, you would be able to see that. You would be able to know, like, that they have creeped up through these two vents. And that's bad normally, but you actually know. You can see that he went through those vents, and you can shock him in the bottom camera to move him away and prevent him from killing you. So, It really is just Tom is like the lowest priority in the vents if there are like multiple vent characters in the camera that needs overheating, which is like an essential like part of my guide that I've written down kind of recently. But yeah, major mistake. If you're doing that, then you have a much higher chance of encountering the shadow you will have your camera error combo and die to it. Well, you do normally, but like if you do it with trying to get to shadow you will have here as fast as possible, and you get the camera error first, you would always have enough time to repair the system before dealing with shadow you will have here. So yeah, basically that's essentially that. So that's it. Okay. A little something here. Like, notice how like because he's overheating the vent so much, the temperature is going higher. And he's used to turning off the lights when going in the cameras, of course. This is a good tip to use because it lowers the risk of camera error and it lowers the risk of dying to darkness at the window. But one thing here, and I mentioned this sometimes in my guide, but the temperature currently right now is 97%. It's hard to see because my stupid YouTube, like my stupid YouTube HUD is like blocking the way, but oh, there you go. 97 temperature. As I mentioned like before during previous episodes, there are situations where you would want to keep the power on or the lights on when going on the cameras. It's not, you shouldn't have to always rely on going to the cameras whenever there is oh no. Okay, what I meant to say was you should never like always go to the cameras only if the lights are off. This is what Ruben did during his run, and while he actually all got extremely few camera errors, he actually like Ruben's run, he got almost no camera errors. Well, not almost no, but like two camera errors, two, three, four, five. I actually can't remember, but like my point is you can't get camera errors nearly as much if you do it like that. But during a situation like this where you would want to have temperature be lower because if you notice, like he plans to change the temperature once the timer hits 1 minute and 42 seconds instead of 2 minutes. This is a slight adjustment to my strategy that I want to talk about later because it's actually really good. But for now, because he is planning to change the temperature to 40 later on, he should keep the temperature close to 80 so it will not take as much time to change temperature to help with that. So what he does here, he turns off the lights and he goes to the cameras. This, I mean, it's okay. Overall, it didn't really impact the run too much, but overall, like, the temperature will rise up even higher, and because he wants to change temperature, like, sooner, it's gonna take way longer. Yeah, a minute and 16 seconds has passed. 100%. I think it's almost guaranteed that Charred Milk and Yogurt are at least in their shock camera by now. So, he checks the camera, and he shocks the both of them. Right. That's good. Enough time has passed, and those two have already been there. He should have checked earlier, but he did a really good job at the fact that he shocked right away. Who knows? I mean, if he didn't like shock the camera right away and he checked first, he could have died in Shadow Milk and Yogurt. So, good choice overall by him. Yeah, notice how his temperature is really high still, 95 temperature. If he had kept the lights off when he went to the cameras, like a bit earlier, then the temperature wouldn't be that bad, and he could have changed the temperature earlier, and it would have been faster. But as you can see, he keeps the temperature like high. Yeah, again, he turns off the lights when going to the cameras. This one is like you absolutely want to keep the lights on because the mic is there. If you know how Darknet works, then Darknet cannot make any progress if any the mice character is attacking. So the mice mic is here, so that means Darknet cannot attack you during the time that the mice mic is here. So you should have used that time to like have lights on and have the temperature to drop down a little earlier. But again, overall, this is not that big of a deal. It's not as major as the two other major mistakes I mentioned during the beginning of the run. Yeah, he managed to get the mic. Congrats. And oh, actually, another thing. Okay, I wrote it down in my like notes. Let me go back and check what I missed. Hold on a second. Wait, I wrote something down here in this part. Right. He waits. Right. Okay. So whenever the system has finished repairing, instead of going to the cameras right away, he decides to wait a little bit. This is risky because if I remember correctly, wait, let me wait for the camera. No, it's still a good signal. It's fine. He waited a little bit there, like stalled the other characters. This is actually not that bad. I would say this was a pretty good move by him because he stalls the other characters up by a little bit, and not only that because he also intentionally let the temperature go down a little bit, which is also pretty good overall. But again, he let the temperature go down, but at the same time, he that was because he wanted to turn off the lights when going to the camera, so he wanted to stay in the office a little bit longer to let the temperature go down a little bit. But again, he should have just gone to the cameras without having to turn off the lights. I mean, again, minor things. It's fine. It didn't affect it didn't affect this run too much, and I want to also remind again that I am still mentioning all of these minor things because who knows, these things could save you in a run in the future. These small details might save you because this challenge really is like that. Even the smallest of adjustments, the smallest of details, is can really majorly affect what happens during your run. It's actually my topic in episode 1. I recommend checking it out, even though the audio is kind of crap. But anyway, moving on. Okay, and right over there, another. This was actually quite a big mistake you made here, but the audio, you can clearly see right here, the audio lure is not playing. It's not currently active, and Jeff is not being lured at the current moment. Now, if I were him, like I would, while waiting for the Ravager to move closer to my office, and like I hear the before his footsteps get faster, I will go quickly to the second floor and play the audio for Jeff real quick. But he's also like, of course, checking Liz. So I would check Liz first. That is good. Liz was just at the window, so good thing he checked for Liz first. Liz is going to the vent, so he's fine. And then I would go for Tom afterwards. Like he spent a lot of time like idling in the office, just waiting for the Ravager to attack. There are like if you can, it would absolutely be better if you were to spend that extra time like while waiting for the Ravager, deal with someone else or like check their positions. It's really a good idea overall. Almost there. Yeah, he's changing the temperature to 40. And yeah, this is where the stopwatch thing comes into play. Okay, so anyway, before I mention that, I do want to talk about something else. So I will come back to this stopwatch thing, adjustment to thing later on. But yeah, darkness there at the window. He must deal with it. Liz is there, and by this point, even like uh here, this is where I pointed out that he wasn't playing the audio, even though you could see it. He does not play the audio for an absurdly long time, and I gotta say, he is lucky that Shadow Jack here is attacking him currently because Jeff Jeff gets stalled by Shadow Jack. So because he's not playing the audio for so long, Jeff could have easily escaped and could have gone to the first floor. But Shadow Jack is here, so it halts Jeff's progress overall. Um, go back. He goes into the cameras, but he kind of just like looks into the cameras and like he keeps his mouse here as if he's trying to look at the vents radar. But if I think what he should have done here, like you could see the text at the bottom. There's like text showing that the Matty is currently in the cameras. So what he should have done here is that he should have opened the camera and start moving his mouse, flicking it around so he could collect all the stars. Because even though there's a camera error here, the errors stack sometimes. So I would get rid of the mice Matty myself before going and repairing the camera system. Because like right here, he repairs the camera system and he pretty much tanks the mice Matty's hit because the mice Matty will attack here. And yeah, the mice Matty attacks and he decides, if you notice, one good tip he made good use of is like over here. He preemptively like readied up like repairing the camera system again because he knows that the mice Matty is gonna attack, so his camera system will break, and so he decides to repair it a bit like a second time. good overall. This was really good. This saves him time to deal with characters later on. Yeah, really good. Overall, a really good run. I mean, not really good run. Really good thing he did. That's not what I meant. You know. Yeah, there's Sharamilk Yogurt. Sharamilk Yogurt is in the second floor, so he's going to be good for a while. And yeah, if you notice, he still has not played the audio lore. Up until now, he has not played the audio lore. If I went back to when I saw that his audio lore was not playing, 155. This was the timestamp I have in my notes. This, yeah, he has left the audio not playing for over half a minute at this point. So it's it it's no wonder Jeff managed to make it quite a bit far. Of course, he got stalled by Jack, but still. And if you notice here, he decides to play the audio on the first floor. Really, really good actually that he did this because he realized he wasn't playing the audio for so long, so he decided to play the audio in this floor. And overall, really good use of a tip for my guys. If if Jeff actually had managed to get to the first floor, then yeah, this would have saved him. But I don't actually think I think Jeff is actually still in the first floor, mainly because Jack was there and stalled Jeff for so long. So while this wasn't required, this was still a really good play. Now, overheating Tom, it's the thing that he's doing. Overheating Tom in top vents. I also forgot to mention that if you overheat Tom in the top vents, then you're overheating the vents a lot more often, and in return, you are having more trouble having the temperature be lower because you're overheating so much. So, that's one thing I want to mention. Yeah, Jeff is there in the first floor. And oh, Mr. Springlock, but luckily, he heard it and he's gonna shock this down. Now, Shadow Milk and Yogurt is at the second floor. If he remembered that, he'd know that he doesn't have checked the first floor before. But it seems like he does remember, and they are still there. I only say that because I see people forgetting about Shadow Milk and Yogurt often. It's fair because they make no sound cue unless they're attacking, in which case they make extremely quiet sound cues. But yeah, you gotta pay attention to Shadow Milk and Yogurt, and yeah, remember where they're at so you won't have to check for them again. Because yeah, again, if you find out where they're attacking, you don't have to keep checking on their exact position. You can just go on the shock camera and see if they're there and shock them, because you'll know that they'll attack from there. So it saves you time. Okay, now one mistake he made over here. I go back. Single character you have here. He deals with Shattered Triangle, but immediately after he goes to a system and repair. He goes to the maintenance panel and repairs a system. So this was not that good. This was kind of a mistake he made because remember, after every action, the temperature is at 40. You absolutely need to check the vent radar a lot more oftenly. So since Shattered Triangle is done attacking, you should have. You should have checked the vents radar after dealing with Shattered Triangle and before repairing the audio lore, because during these times where you don't like check the vent radar for like 10 seconds, then Tob can easily sneak through and end your run sneakily, quite easily. So you really you have to check the vent radar as often. I will again keep clarifying this in every episode. I want to keep highlighting this. Check the vent radar as often as possible. Everyone pretty much struggles with Tom so much that the way you avoid him is just check the vent radar as much as you can, and don't go whenever you do a long action, do the check the vent radar action like right after, no matter what type of long action it is, like repairing a system or something. So yeah, luckily he managed to do Tom at that point, so it's good. Now the Yogurt overall pretty good. He managed to shock them both. Liz at second floor. I would check the vent radar again. There, Tom is there. I would have checked the vent radar a little earlier. He checked the vent radar at a good time, but I would have checked it again a little earlier just to make sure. Because yeah, you have to check that thing often. Overall, nothing quite interesting happening. He makes the same mistake of repairing two systems at once. Right over here. He repairs the oxygen font and then resets the laser power after. If you know, I'm not sure if he saw the step. I don't think he saw the step. I'm pretty sure it wasn't my guide though that you should not repair two systems in a row. Like whenever you want to do two actions in the maintenance panel, repair or recharge two things, then after doing one, check the vents radar and to see if Tom is there, and also for Jeff, I guess, and also for Mr. Springlock to see if Mr. Springlock is in the vents. So yeah, don't repair two systems in a row. We'll clarify that further. It's to be fair, I used to do that all the time. I used to repair multiple systems at once, but nowadays I realize how risky that could be sometimes. So yeah, Mr. I'd mentioned. Yeah, playing the audio for Jeff. Really good. Well, nice, nice. Okay. A small little thing of it, a small tiny thing. This is like minor, very minor, but again, this might be the this one action he did there, even though it's so small, it might be the difference between life and death for him. So right here, he idles in the office a little bit. He spends little time idling in the office. This is, of course, only good at the very beginning of the night, but when you're at the smack dab in very middle of the night, like it's 3:30 plus, it's over 3:30, like around that time, very dead center in the middle of the night, you would absolutely have no good reason to idle in the office. Any extra time you may have should be used on checking on all of the other characters and their locations, no matter who it is. If you already checked Shadow Milk and Yogi, if you already checked Jeff, if you already checked Jeff, if you already checked the vent radar, then just check for like the shock cameras to see in case you missed out on mission track. Anything really, any action that could help you out in the future, it could really help here. Idling in the office like this is like I don't know, it only wastes like 1 or 2 seconds here, like literally only 1 or 2 seconds, but it's a small, tiny adjustment that could like help out immensely if you know how to implement it properly. Yeah, okay, you know what? I'm going to mention this now, I suppose, since it is his stopwatch one over again. So if you've noticed, his stopwatch is a bit different from what my guide mentioned. Is because my guide says to change temperature every 2 minutes. He set his stopwatch to change temperature like every slightly before 2 minute mark. So like 3:45, like that's only a tiny bit behind 4 minutes in, and earlier as well he also had the time set to like 150 or something. This is actually a really, really good idea because the time it takes to change temperature takes a long time sometimes depending on the situation you are in. And so if you change temperature early, if you like start changing it a little earlier, then yeah, you absolutely can change it like a lot more consistently at around the time that you're supposed to, like 2 a.m. If like since he's gonna change temperature like recently, he's gonna be able to make it to 80 temperature faster at around the 4 a.m. mark compared to if you were to have your stopwatch be at 4 minutes in. So overall, really good. This is a really good change. It is. Hold on. Oh wait, my laptop is low battery. Let me charge it up real quick. Okay. Okay. Continuing on. Yeah. He changed temperature to 80, and then because he's changing it to 80, he can now do the strategy of overheating the vents. Yeah, overall good. This because he manages to do this, like change temperature earlier, like before the minute mark, instead of changing it at directly at the minute mark. This helps out a lot with Zach, and overall, that was really good. This is one of the best parts about his run, being able to manage Zach very well. He was able to like consistently make good use of his stopwatch and change temperatures at a good rate, except for the beginning. That's what I mentioned. You know, change temperature to like 80 at the start. But I mean, again, it doesn't matter. So I'm not really gonna count that. So really good overall, really good. Very good Jack management. Jack is at his last phase, so he's about to enter the office. So I would worry a bit more about Shattered Jack. If you see Shattered Jack at the last phase he's at before entering the office, and you know that the winding box is lower than half, then You can preemptively put your mouse on where Jack's like music box would be and like wind it as soon as he arrives. This could save you for in case Shara Jack happens to be low. But you shouldn't have that happen. Normally it wouldn't really happen, provided you made good use of the what I have mentioned in the guide. But there are a lot of things regarding that situation. Yeah, overall, good. He's quite fast. It's another like good thing about this one. He has good speed for this challenge. He has really good speed, but it's just like a few things, a few major mistakes that he made, like like overeating down the top vent and also like the mice like tip. There are a few things. Okay, no, actually I want to mention this later on. I'll finish the run first. Before I mention this. But overall, he's fast. As you can see, Shara Jack's a little close there, and yeah, he attacked. Got to like 2 bars, so okay. I'll mention that the mice mission marketing later, but right now, of course, this I don't think this was in my guide by the time that he recorded this video, so it's fair that he didn't see this. I think I'm pretty sure it wasn't in the guide, but you absolutely should not wind the music box in full without checking the ventilator at least once. Whenever Sharon Jack attacks, during the middle of his attack, you have to check the ventilator at least one single time because if you remember, Tom is not stalled by Jack, so Jack is attacking and Tom can still move. So it's a really good way for Tom to sneak up on you is when Sharon Jack is attacking. Give him attention. It means the mice Mr. Monarca is in the right event. You have to be careful with that. But if you notice, he's not going away. The mice Mr. Monarca is not actually going away. This is because of like a visual bug, not a visual bug, but like a bug in the game where if you do not go turn to look at the mice Mr. Monarca when he reaches the vents, he will not be able to do his animation of moving into the vent, and he will not leave because his animation has to play first before leaving the vent. So because he's looking at the left side for Jack, he does not load the animation of the mice Mr. Monarca, and he stays there for longer than he needed to. Yeah, he finally noticed and he decides to look at the mice Mr. Monarca. Gives him the attention he deserves. Nothing quite unusual right now. Right here. Really good. I again would have checked the vent radar a little earlier, because that was a bit risky for those characters. That's one thing he does do often with in this run. Like he doesn't check the vent radar enough. There are certain situations where he absolutely should have checked the vent radar and he didn't. But yeah, it's hard to make good use of that tip because you're so focused on everything else, it makes it easy to forget about things like that, checking the vent radar often. But you gotta remember, vent radar, like, check it very damn oftenly. My Cindy, oh no. Now, if you've noticed what he did there for the My Cindy, let me go back a little bit. He changes the temperature to become 60. I don't think he read through my basic mechanics guide at all because I think he assumed he knows everything in the basics mechanics guide, so he didn't see this part about me need to talk about. But you have to have the temperature be at around the 50 to 70 temperature, not only 60. So he could have saved a really good bit of time with changing temperature if he had this change temperature to become like 70 instead of 60. Because now, because he changed to 60, it'll take a bit longer for temperature to go back to what it was before. So yeah, another thing that he could have done to help save some time. Very good overall. Try to go back a little bit. He was very unsure on the Sharon McInroe's location, so he just went to that camera and shot it like right then and there. Really good use of my tip. But yeah, they weren't there, but I mean, he has so many shocks, so he could waste shock as much as he wants, it's fine. He checks again and there they are, Sharon McInroe are attacking now. oops, I paused it. Apologies. Yeah. Okay, so he shocks the bottom camera again. I'm going to go back a little bit to play it because I want to see why he done this to both. Wait, let me go back. Where was Tom at around this time? I want to check. Yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I should mention this, but he finished repairing a system and Jared's angle attacks right after. What he should have done is he should have checked the ventilator right before dealing with Jared's angle first. So Jared's angle is the office. He decides, oh, I'll just get rid of her quick and then I'll check the cameras. But ventilator first, then Jared's angle because these are two long actions. These two actions take a long time to finish. So remember, you have to check the ventilator between long things like this. You have to make sure you check the ventilator and don't do it after dealing with two long actions. But you have a lot less risk with Tom because yeah, this doing this again risks Tom like going through a vent and got trouble. And hold on. I'm going to go back a little bit. Wait, I'm actually gonna check this clip out a little bit. It's actually intriguing to me. I'm gonna study this clip a little bit because this is a bit interesting. Okay, so I looked back a little bit in this run and I think I see what he did here and why he did it. So I'm going to explain a little bit, but if you, I'm gonna play the entire like set of events to like showcase what exactly happened here. So Tom is currently at the top vent. Liz is currently at this vent, and Liz is gonna attack, but he has the laser vent like closed, so he's good. Remember this. Tom is in the top vent. Remember that for a little bit. Yeah. That's the part where I mentioned him taking advantage of the tip of like chucking the camera. And yeah, he's gonna do it again since he's nowhere there. Now, by the way, before I mention anything, actually before I do mention anything, one more thing I want to point out. He should have checked the ventilator after like deactivating the right vent laser because at this point it's been a little bit since Tom has gone into the no, it's been a little bit since he checked the ventilator, so a little bit problematic, a little bit risky that he's repairing the system right now, but yeah. Dealing with tackle. He actually spends quite a long time not checking the ventilator here, but that's not what I was trying to point out, but just something I'll mention, I guess. But yeah, he notices, okay, Tom is not at the top of it anymore. He's not there. And if he goes back to the camera system, he would actually see, like before he went to the ventilator, let me go back a little bit. Tom is actually right here. You can see Tom's eye and Tom's arm in this camera, so you know that Tom is in this camera. And then yeah, he checks to see if anyone's in the ventilator, no one's in the vent. And what he does next, he shocks this camera because I'm pretty sure he did it. I went ahead and checked it earlier because of that. That's why I had a little cut there, but I'm pretty sure he shocked this camera because he thought that Tom was in this camera because he hasn't seen where Tom went in a while. But if he were to know how Tom's movements would work, he would know that Tom would not have been able to make it to this event in time. Because if Tom, like he saw like when dealing with Mr. Spillock and maybe when the mice Mindy was attacking, Tom was at the top vent. Tom was right there at the top vent, and from there he will go to camera 2A, which is a camera that is like safe. He is far from you, so and at that point he'll either go to the left vent or the right vent. But because of how little time has passed, he would not have enough time to go to this shock camera over here. So he shocks there, but it really was not necessary. This didn't really do anything because, I mean, yeah. Well, I will give him this. I will give him the fact that he did it because he wants to play safe with Tom and the other characters who want to like play safe. But I mean that shock there definitely wasn't for Sharon looking younger because he knows he shocked them very recently, and that was definitely for Tom. But yeah, if he were to like see how Tom worked, if he were to check my basic mechanics guide and see how Tom's movement worked, he would know that Tom delays himself after entering the top vent before doing another attack. which is exactly why you absolutely should let him go to the top end because he delays himself for a while, and yeah, he becomes less troublesome if you do that. Yeah, if yeah, he also if he had done if he actually did check the basic mechanics guide, he would know like not to shock that camera. I mean, you never know what may happen. That extra little second he spent checking the camera and shocking them could have been used for some other things. And ooh, he does it again. This was let me check this out again. Back. Okay. He's lucky he's at 3 camera signal right here. But the thing is, I don't actually think he is paying much attention to the signal because almost no one does. It's really hard to pay attention to the camera signal at this point in time because of how much is going on. It's a small thing at the bottom left of the camera, but sometimes it really is very important to pay attention to this. Luckily, it was at 3, so he's valid. He's perfectly fine for dealing with Tom first before dealing with Shadow Evil Javier. But again, you really should have dealt with Shadow Evil Javier first. Let's say I actually can't remember if I mentioned this. I'm sorry if I already mentioned this earlier, but if you deal with Shadow Evil Javier first, it risks Tom going to the vent, right? But this is no problem because Tom is at the right vent. If he goes through again, he will go to the bottom shock camera, and then you can shock him because you can see that the fact that he left that vent. So Shadow Evil Javier first. If you see Tom left before you can overheat Tom, just you could shock him in the bottom camera and he'll be all good. But yeah, have to be careful with that overall. And again, I just want to like clarify. Do not like make sure you are good at prioritizing the event overheat characters. Yeah, just want to clarify that real quick. He shocks there again. He shocks these cameras very oftenly. But of course, I get he's doing it because he's scared. He's near the end of the night. He doesn't want to get screwed over by Sharon Milk and Yogurt. I'm pretty sure he had a run where he was at 6 a.m. He was very close to winning, and he got cooked by Sharon Milk and Yogurt. He got like killed by them. So I'm pretty sure he's doing that because he's scared of them, which is valid. It's fine. You have play shocks. You can use them all you want. Yeah, it's a fun little thing I want to mention. I'm not sure if you heard it. I'm gonna play it back a little bit. If you heard it, loud vent sounds. You could absolutely hear those vent sounds, and it means Tom is at the right vent again, guaranteed. Which is again another benefit of having Tom go through the top vent. You can hear Tom easier, and you can actually rely on it a bit more. Not completely though. Don't rely on that sound cue like ever, like in its entirety. But yeah, you can make good use of that like sound cue more. Since Tom went to the top vent and yeah, he's there. Yeah, behind Mike's face. Yeah, really good here. Really good what he did here. Let me go back. I don't know if this was intentional, but if it was, this was absolutely brilliant. Let me go back a little bit. He goes into camera 2A, and despite seeing the fact that it's reloading, like the audio lore, let me go back a little bit again. He's at the second floor. He sees the audio is reloading. I'm not sure if he's actually paying attention, but I assume he is. I assume he's gonna be paying attention. I'm gonna assume he's paying attention to all sort of things. Okay, I wanna like mention again just a small little thing like to add alongside. Make sure to pay attention to the camera stuff. Whenever you're in the cameras, make sure to pay attention to everything. The signal, the audio, the like characters in the cameras. It's all really important information to know sometimes. So yeah. So the audio is still playing, but when he goes to the first floor, he first instantly selects camera 2A, the camera where he's playing the audio lure on. And I'm not. This again, I want to clarify. This is actually really damn good if this was intentional. But what happens here is that he waits. He doesn't go check the other cameras to find the Mike's face right away. So what does here? I think what happened. I'm hoping this was intentional because amazing. He heard the audio lore is about to finish. And because he heard the audio lore is about to finish, he decides instead of looking for the Mike's face, he will wait there first before playing the audio lore. And then once the audio lore is done playing, he plays again. And this actually kind of saved him so hard. Because if you notice, the oxygen phone alarm went off right after he played the audio lore. So he saved himself from losing Jeff so well there by listening to the audio lore and seeing when it finishes playing. So overall, huge props if that was intentional. That was really good. And yeah, that was essentially, let's say, if he had not done that, there was a chance Jeff got very far and could have gotten very close to killing him, but that risk did not happen because he heard that audio play. So bravo, very smart of him to do. Now, I mean, it's very possible that he just it did it coincidentally, like it was an accident completely, but it was a very lucky accident if that was the case, because man, it's so hard to like make use of that tip. That is a tip in my guide, listening to the audio load to know when it stops playing. That is something I have written down, but it's one of the hardest tips to make use of because you have to not only be in that specific camera, you have to pay attention to the audio load while doing whatever it is you want to do. So it really is a hard thing to do, and he manages to do it. So amazing again, amazing. And yeah, Jeff, at this point, there was a chance Jeff would have been at like camera like freaking 4A at this point. It really is that bad with the 80 temperature and the oxygen font alarm going off. Jeff really is speed. I mean, if you were to ask me, Jeff is more speed than Zach. Zach voice line, disaster. I'm just kidding. But yeah, Liz left. Decides, oh, very good. Decides to go shock Sharon McNeil because enough time has passed. Like they would have been there for a little while now, so he decides to shock them both. Yeah, he didn't even check. He just went to shock right away. That's one other really good tip he made use of here. He really shocked the camera so much often. Like, what is that word? So much often. That's like not how you do grammar. Hold on, let me rephrase that. He shocked the cameras like a lot more often than you normally would in this challenge. And yeah, good because he's just playing very, very safe with Charlotte and Yogurt and Tom. And bravo, that's not a really good thing he did here, making good use of that tip. He kind of saved. He might have been able to save himself because if he had not like shot right away, he again could have gotten cooked by like the extra like 0.3 seconds he spent like looking at Charlotte and Yogurt's camera, seeing if you're there. Yeah, good, good stuff overall. Pretty atypical. Again, Shar Jahatak, he should have checked the vents radar at least once, just to make sure Tom is not gonna be sneaky and he's not gonna sneak up on him. Now, wait, I'm going to go back a little bit there because I want to go back to when Liz was at the window. Okay, yeah. He does check. That was really good. He made really good use of time there. He not only dealt with Jared McIndoe, but he also, like, checked Liz's camera, and he did it in a very quick succession, so he managed to do all of that. And overall, you really need good speed for a challenge. This challenge, to some people, like this challenge is mostly brains and no speed. Like there's like a lot. You have to like make use of your like strategy and dynamics and all that. But there is a lot more speed in this challenge than you may think, right? Jay's fast movements have been really good in this specific run compared to other like episodes I've covered. So yeah, that is good sufficient speed you need for this challenge to like have a consistent time beating this. Yeah, on the run. He delays himself a bit there. I mean, you go back there. Shadow Evil have your bang in the vents. Instantly, I would bolt for the camera. I would bolt for the camera button and bolt for overheating Shadow Evil have here. Maybe close the right vent laser, activate the ventilator over here like he did here, but he even turns off the lights first before checking the camera. I wouldn't do that. I would just go instantly Shadow Evil have here in the vents. I have to clarify that as much as possible, just so that you can like remember to do that. Vents radar. Shari will have here, fast as possible. Check it as much as often for Tom. And Mr. Spurlock. Don't forget that. Yeah, he's in a good position here. He's in a really good position. It's enough time has passed to the point that Tom cannot kill him anymore. So Tom is pretty much out of the equation for the rest of the night because you would not have enough time to make it to your office in time. Yeah. And now all he has to do is play the audio. He played the audio one camera closer. He played the audio on camera 3A for Jeff. Another really good use of my tip of being able to play the audio a little closer, just to make sure, like, play safe for Jeff. He didn't have to dare because there was no oxygen font alarm, but because of the fact that he had at the end of the night, he wants to play extra safe with Jeff. So props to him. He's playing extremely safe. He's very, very careful with how he manages some of the characters, and it's honestly really good. Yeah, he's at the night, and that's it. I have a little bit of glitchiness with the audio. Give me a second. Okay, I'm back. Anyways, yeah, that's it. Manages to make it 7 a.m. overall, and yeah, that was actually a pretty decent run. Well, after he completed this run, he kind of like thought this run was not the best run ever. He didn't like how he did in this run, but there were a few things I will say, like the way he handled Dom and Jerry will have here was quite iffy. He didn't really do very well with those vent characters. But besides that, and a few other errors and mistakes he made, and like that one mistake that really could have ended the run. Besides that, he actually made use of my tips really well. Like more, like better than like he thinks he did. And yeah, a decent run. I will say, props to him for being the challenge. Good job again to Che, for being it. And now, yeah, I'm now gonna do the part of my video where I reanalyze the run just to make sure I don't, in case I miss something, because as you know, as I analyze the run, as I talk through it, it's very easy for me to miss something. So I'm gonna go back and I'll see you guys in a bit when I find something to talk about that I missed. Okay, there's one thing here that I've noticed that he could have done to help with temperature again. That temperature was also something he struggled quite a bit in this challenge, but here I'll just play this part a little bit. Right now he's at the point where he changes temperature to 40. And yeah, but like as you can see, the lights were off for so long to the point that the temperature is at 101 Fahrenheit. Now, one thing he could have done here that could have helped significantly with that is that right after finding Mike's face, close the cameras and turn on the lights first before changing temperature. But right here, he changes temperature uh before turning on the lights again. Now, you have to like try to utilize the lights being on in the office as much as possible to help with managing temperature, unless of course temperature is already good. But in the situation, temperature is not that good. It's very high, unusually high. So small adjustments like this again, this could have like made him become like 10 whole Fahrenheit like lower in terms of temperature, which could have really helped a lot with dealing with changing temperature. But it didn't end up mattering luckily. So that's all for this part basically. Just manage your temperature very well, and then you could do pretty good stuff. Okay, this is actually very related to what I literally just said, like in the previous clip. But I want to play this real quick because this actually is right after the previous clip. So he is still trying to change temperature to 40 temperature, right? Now he wants to turn off because like he sees darkness at the window. He needs to turn off the lights to like prevent darkness from killing him here. But temperature is currently above 60. Now what he's doing here, he is waiting for the temperature to become 40 temperature before turning off. Well, not 40, but sorry, not 40. Frick. What I meant to say was he's trying to wait for oh my gosh, I can't talk. Sorry. Okay, take number 3. But he's trying to wait for the temperature to become 59 Fahrenheit before turning off the light, so that while the lights are off for darknet, the temperature will come lower for Zach, which is good. But the problem is, he does not have enough time. Like, Darknet is rising up fast, and if he had waited, he could have died Darknet at the window, and it's very risky. And earlier, I mentioned he could have saved like 10 Fahrenheit if he could have like have the Fahrenheit be like 10 lower if he had like turned on the power before changing the temperature in the maintenance panel. So If he had done that, if he had turned on the light in the previous clip, right before changing the temperature to 50 to like 40 Fahrenheit, he really could have he really could have had that happen here, where he dealt with darknet, the temperature is at 59 and like or lower, and then the temperature would have gone down while darknet is like slowly going away with the lights. So this is actually a big component that ended up not being too big of a deal for him, but a really big thing that could end up messing you up if you get unlucky with Zack enough. So that's all for this part, basically. Okay, so I do want to mention one slight thing here with Shattered Jack. This is the first Shattered Jack attack in the night that he goes against. So right here, this is the part where the camera error is happening and the mice Matty's in the cameras, and yeah, I'm gonna play it a little bit. Now, this is the part where he does pre-repair the system, like just so that whenever the mice Matty is attacking, like the system will be in the process of repairing during his jump scare. But one thing he does a little mistake here is that he goes in to attempt repairing the system a bit too early. Like the system isn't yet done repairing, not even like too close to being done repairing. So what he should have done here is spend like an extra 1 second longer or like extra half second longer, like dealing with Shire Jack and like winding his music box up higher, because making sure Shire Jack's music box is as high as possible is once again very, very important to have. So overall, you really do need to make sure to know how long the system takes to like repair, because if you know like when the system repairs, you can predict stuff more easily. And right here, if he had known like the system would have taken an extra bit longer to repair, he would have had extra progress on dealing with Jar Jack, and it could have helped him quite a bit. But yeah, this is a small little thing I want to mention. That's all. Okay, but continuing off what I said, yeah, because he could not wind Jar Jack's music box up enough. Yeah, it's very low once Jar Jack leaves. I'm pretty sure if he had waited a little bit longer and like waited to like time the error like repair like better, then Jar Jack's music box would have been at least half at that point. So just a little thing. It could have he still survived that like low like music box wind, but overall like he played quite a risk in the situation because of that. So yeah, that's all. Okay, one thing he actually did really good here, in this part of the run. This is a moment in time where he does not play the audio lore for like 30, over half a minute. So what he does here, actually checks camera 4B and camera 2B, and after checking those two cameras and not seeing Jeff, then he goes to the first floor camera and play the audio lore at camera 2A. This was overall really good because yeah, he wanted to make sure Jeff was not in those two cameras, and then like when he sees that Jeff is not there yet, then that's when he decides to play the audio lore in the first floor. Earlier, I mentioned how he realizes how like he hasn't played the audio lore in a while, so he decides to play the first floor. Not only that, but he also did this extra thing of checking those two cameras to see if Jeff is there or not. I'm not sure if that's intentional. Actually, I'm not 100% sure if that's intentional. I think it is though, because he does play the audio lore after checking, but he could have done that for like Sharon and Yogurt anyways. He might have just checked it for those two characters, but you never know. But yeah, good sense of understanding of character AI. Yeah, another good moment from Chase Run. Okay, so another part I want to mention here in regards to Vent Radar stuff. So here, you check the Vent Radar at that point, right? He last checked the Vent Radar at this point in time, at the 2 minutes 58 seconds at his stopwatch. So let me play the clip real quick. Okay, so he's dealing with the demise Javier and checking the main panel. Okay. Okay. Did you notice something wrong with that part? Because what happened is that he does not check the vent radar for almost 20 full seconds. He last checked the vent radar at like the 3 minutes 08 seconds mark, the 3 minutes 8 seconds mark in the stopwatch. Now it's like 3 minutes 17 seconds. Almost a full 20 seconds of him not checking the vent radar. Obviously, this is really bad because this was a really good opportunity for someone like Tom or like Mr. Springlock to like sneak up on him. So again, just want to clarify. you really do have to focus on checking the vent radar very oftenly, like so oftenly. You cannot go like 10 seconds without checking the vent radar, let alone 20. So yeah, that's all I want to mention this part. Just have to you have to really make sure you know what's causing you to get screwed over with Tom sometimes, and that's a situation where he could have. Yeah, Tom could have possibly have gotten through the vent, and yeah, it would have been quite bad for him. He could have died, but yeah, that's all for this part. Okay, so remember how I mentioned it earlier, like about him doing a brilliant move and like waiting for the audio to like run out before continuing to search the mic and the cameras, like for the mic's head. That like one of the first clips during this reanalysis. Well, that might not actually be entirely true because this kind of like same thing happens again, except this time he does not notice, and he could have lost Jeff if he got unlucky with the oxygen font alarm. But let me play this real quick. Let me play this up. No. Oh, right. I'm gonna go back to it. Actually, no, I'm gonna go back to it. Yeah, the audio lore right there. That it's about to finish playing, and as you can see, you could yeah, you could hear the audio stop playing. Yeah, it just got done. But that's like the last few seconds of the tune. And yeah, the audio, you could even see the audio lore like thing, it's done playing right there and there. Yeah, camera system error happened right here. Now, if he were paying attention to the audio lore, like when it would stop playing, he would know that the audio lore is done playing and he would check, or he'll at least check to see if it's still playing or not. But what happens, he doesn't actually check. He deals with Tom and the vent radar first, of course, good, check the vent radar as much as possible. Then he checks Charlie will have here in the vent radar, and then now he finally notices that he has the audio loop now playing, and then he plays it here. If he was unlucky and he decides, or not him, but if the game like gave him like the oxygen font alarm, like if the oxygen font was going off, then Jeff could have easily escaped there, and he could. Yeah, it's early. It's kind of early. It's 5:45 a.m. So Jeff definitely had more than enough time to make it to his office and kill him at the time. So if he got unlucky, that could have ended his entire run. If he got unlucky there, so you really have to be ready for anything basically. And let me go back to when he last played the audio, or when he like the audio was last played. Yeah, 28. The audio he plays the audio again at 45. So he doesn't play the audio for a full 17 seconds, which is a lot of time. You really have to, and it really goes to show like, because if you notice here, one other small thing he did after overeating Tom, he idles in the office instead of like going to check the like. Cause normally, if you overeat someone and you're waiting for the overheat to like recover so you can deal with the other overheat character, you would check the vent, like not the vent. You would check other characters in the middle of it. You could like check if Tom is still there, not Tom, but like you could check if Jeff is still there in his camera, like where Shadowbook and Jorgen are. And yeah, overall, like idling in the office again. It's not repairing a system, so he didn't really have to idle in the office here. So this is just another like small thing here that he could have done to like notice that the audio was like not playing earlier, basically. But yeah, that's about it for this part of the clip. Oh, okay, so I just got done. Oh wait. Oh, little error. Why is there that loading thing in my screen? Okay, there you go. I want to like end it off here. There you go. Yeah. So I just, anyways, ignoring that. Oh my gosh, the thing is back. You know what? I'm just gonna like go here. Do it. I'm not gonna do my typical outro of like ending the video off in like the main menu. I'll just end off here. The damn like loading screen's like messing with it. Okay. Anyways, I apologize for having to do so many like repeating myself so many times in this like recording. I don't know why, but for some reason, just this session, I've been repeating. I just like keep messing up my words and my sentences. I apologize for all that, but yeah, I just got done re-reviewing like Chase Run, and overall, it was actually better than I remember it to be. He made use of a lot of really good and niche tips and strategies, which helped him get through the run. But also, he made a lot of very obvious and major mistakes. This was overall a very mixed bag of really good and also really weird. So yeah, it was clear that like he did know the strategy, he did know how to beat it, he did understand what he needed to do. but he didn't fully comprehend everything he had to do to get that to that point. And like some of these obvious situations, like he's overheating top vent, like the my triangle jump scared him at the beginning of the night, even though he could have easily avoided that. The whole like you will have here Tom like vent prioritization and overall the vent stuff, and also a few of the audio lore situations. Those things were very odd to say the least, especially to compare to how, especially compared to how good a lot of his other like moments were in this run. So overall, this was a very interesting to review. There were a lot of unique things that happened here that didn't happen during the other episodes, so it was actually very fun to have come back to. But yeah, go check out Chase's channel. He makes great max mode content, and also he makes Geometry Dash content on his main channel. He has two channels, one for FNAF, one for Geometry Dash. He's a cool person. He does make lots of cool videos, so I do recommend checking him out. As usual, I will link his channel in the description of this video, like the other people I cover. And yeah, great run overall. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode, and yeah, I will see y'all when I record the next episode of Overanalyzing Cartoons Massacre. Yeah, see y'all.